Hey guys, welcome to another video. Welcome to my favourite movie of every year I've been alive. I've seen a couple of YouTubers do this kind of video, so here's a shout out to Sean Chandler for the inspiration since he's the first one to do these kind of videos. And I'll be doing all the way up from 1989, since that's the year I was born, and all the way up until now in 2023, so let's get to it. Here's my favourite movie of every year I've been alive. Started off with 1999, which since that's the year I was born, is The Iron Giant. Talked about this movie a lot, especially in my favourite animated movie of every year I've been alive video. And again, I love the characters like the Iron Giant himself, Hogarth Hughes, Annie. The animation is amazing. It's overall a perfect movie. It's overall a perfect animated film. I love it. 2000 is Gladiator. Gladiator is my favourite Ridley Scott film. I love its brilliant story, the battle scenes, the amazing Hans Zimmer score, and great performances from Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, Connie Nielsen, and Richard Harris. The cinematography is amazing and groundbreaking. It's overall a fantastic film. Everyone knows Gladiator. 2001 is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I've talked about Harry Potter a lot, so it's not a shock. And if this is the first one in the franchise, it's an amazing way to begin it all. I love the characters, the John Williams score, the special effects. I've always loved Harry Potter since I was a kid, and I still love him and quote him to this very day. So, yeah. 2002 is Spider-Man, the very first Spider-Man film in Sam Raimi's trilogy. A great start to Spider-Man on the big screen. Sam Raimi did a really good job with directing this film. Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man is great, so is Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane, James Franco as Harry Osborn, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, and yep, it's Spider-Man. Everyone knows that it's one of the best superhero films out there. 2003 is Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Huge Lord of the Rings fan, so I've talked about the franchise a lot. This is an emotional and epic conclusion to a pretty much perfect trilogy. The ending of the film is satisfying and a great send-off to Frodo and the other characters. And overall, I love Lord of the Rings, so I'm glad this won Best Picture that year, on 2003. 2004 is The Incredibles. Talked about it a lot in my favourite animated movie of every year I've been alive video. And yeah, The Incredibles is one of my favourite Pixar films. Love the characters like Bob Parr, Elastigirl, Violet, Dash, Jack. Syndrome's a great villain. It's overall one of the best. It's The Incredibles, man. 2005 is Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. Originally, when I made my favourite movies of 2005 video, like my top 10 on my own channel, which I'm probably gonna maybe I'll update it one day. I had this at number 2 on the list, and while I do still love Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, I'm probably going to change it around to Star Wars Revenge of the Sith in the number 1 spot. I think it's the best of the prequels. I love the final showdown between Anakin and Obi-Wan. It's overall one of my favourite Star Wars movies, so yeah. 2006 is Casino Royale, Bond. James Bond. Easily my favourite James Bond film. Great introduction to Daniel Craig as James Bond. I love Eva Green as the Bond girl, Vesperland. Mads Mikkelsen is good as the villain, Le Chiffre. And it's overall awesome. It's James Bond. Everyone knows the franchise very well. 2007 is Enchanted. Talked about this film a lot in my favourite Amy Adams movie list. The sequel's pretty good too, but I love the first one more. It's one of my favourite live-action Disney films. I love the characters like Giselle, Pip, Nancy Tremaine, and it has always put a smile on my face, so yeah. 2008 is a tie between 2 superhero movies, and that is The Dark Knight and Iron Man. Couldn't decide which one I like more because The Dark Knight is one of the greatest superhero films ever made, and I love Christian Bale as Batman, Heath Ledger as the Joker. Iron Man is also what started the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man is a perfect casting choice right there. And I love both movies. Maybe when I do a top 10 favourite movies of 2008 video, I'll try and go back and forward to decide which one I like more. But for now, it's a tie. 2009, Inglourious Basterds, one of my favourite Quentin Tarantino films. I mean, Pulp Fiction's my number 1 favourite, but Inglourious Basterds is pretty close. It's a great war film that fictionalizes Jewish soldiers versus the Nazis. great cast like Brad Pitt, Christoph Waltz, Michael Fassbender, and the small world from Mike Myers. They're all great in the film. It's really good. 2010 is Inception, definitely one of the best movies of the 2010s. It's my second favourite Christopher Nolan film. Clever sci-fi action story. It has one of Hans Zimmer's best scores. Amazing performances by Leonardo DiCaprio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Ken Watanabe, and Tom Hardy, and Michael Caine. It's fantastic. 2011 is Hugo. Hugo is a really good and underrated Martin Scorsese movie. Sure, Goodfellas and Taxi Driver are like my top two, but this one's still amazing. It's a great family-friendly film about the love of cinema. I love the performances, especially from Asa Butterfield, if that's his name, yep. Chloe Grace Moretz, Ben Kingsley, Sacha Baron Cohen, Jude Law, and a small role from Christopher Lee. And for people who love cinema, I think most people need to see this. If you haven't yet, it's really good. 2012, The Avengers. This is what got me into the MCU even more. Sure, Iron Man started it all, but The Avengers made it even bigger. So, and yes, I love Infinity War and Endgame, which we'll get to later even more. But The Avengers, for me, was a dream come true. Great to see all these heroes come together. What was that? 2013 is Frozen. Frozen is one of my favourite Disney films, so of course it's my favourite movie of 2013. Sure, I love Frozen 2 a little more, but I love the first one's still great. I love Anna, Elsa, Kristoff, Sven, Olaf. The songs are memorable, and I've talked about it a lot. Everyone knows it. 2014 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Definitely one of the most fun and most heartfelt films of the MCU. Great scenes, Star-Lord, Gamora, Rocket Raccoon, Nebula, and the others in it. The soundtrack is awesome, and it's one of the best in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so yeah. 2015 is Star Wars The Force Awakens. Yes, say what you want about The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, but I, like others, still think that The Force Awakens is great, and it's the best in the sequel trilogy at least. Great way to continue the story years later after the original trilogy. Some people are saying it does not hold up, but I still think it does. 2016 is Deadpool. Talked about Deadpool a lot, and it's my favourite R-rated superhero movie. The first R-rated film I saw in the theatres, actually. Ryan Reynolds is great as Deadpool. I quote this movie a lot, and I can't wait for Deadpool 3 next year in 2024, but I still love Deadpool 1 and 2. 2017 is War for the Planet of the Apes. Definitely my favourite in the rebooted Planet of the Apes film series. It's epic, it's got great action, and I can't wait for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes next year. But until then, I love War for the Planet of the Apes. And still do. 2018 now is Avengers Infinity War. Infinity War was really good. It was a great way to set up the adventure of Avengers Endgame. Great seeing all the heroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe come together to defeat Thanos, so yeah. 2019 is, of course, Avengers Endgame. A great conclusion to the Infinity Saga. The MCU still continues on, but this was a good way to wrap up the Infinity Saga. It was 3 hours long, but was worth it. The ending is emotional with Iron Man's funeral and Captain America's proper send-off. Everything about it blew me away. 2020 now is Pixar's Soul. I mean, I know 2020 was not a great year for movies, and it was really hard to pick my favourite of that year, but since it was the beginning of the pandemic, but at least Pixar's Soul was the best one of the year for me at least. The story was masterful, Joe Gardner is a great character, voiced by Jamie Foxx, and it's overall an amazing Pixar film. 2021, Spider-Man No Way Home. Out of all the Marvel Cinematic Universe films in Phase 4, Spider-Man No Way Home was easily my favourite. It was again a dream come true to see the villains from the Sam Raimi trilogy and the two Mark Webb films come together in this. I loved seeing Tom Holland's Spider-Man team up with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Everything about it was amazing. I loved it. Last year, 2022, was Top Gun Maverick. That was my favourite of that year. One of the best sequels of last year, and I'm glad it's been nominated for Best Picture. Will it win? I don't know yet, but I hope so. Anyways, as of now in 2023, it's not going to be number one. It's most likely going to change, but so far it is Megan. I did a whole review of this movie, which I'll leave a link down below in the description. It's a great horror film that reminded me a mixture of Child's Play and The Terminator. If you want to know my whole thoughts on the video, just watch it in the link below. So yeah, those are my favourite movies of every year since I've been alive, from 1989 up until now in 2023. So, what are your favourite movies of every year you've been alive? Tell me down in the comments, and thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.